Hey, Kingsley here, and today we want to talk about this topic where I hear so often from men, husbands, who feel like their wife is trying to control them and or trying to be their mom, right? And so the title of this video today is "Be My Lover, Not My Mother," says husband, and 5 ways to make this change. So I'm speaking primarily to the wife, but I think it's important for you as a husband who would listen to this to also hear what it is I'm saying. Because as I've found in my work as a licensed marriage and family therapist and a relationship coach over the last several years of doing this, which is almost 2 decades of this, I have heard this so often that I felt like I needed to do a video recording on this very topic. When I hear this, normally the relationship, the marriage, is at a place where there's conflict after conflict after conflict because the husband feels as if his wife is trying to control and micromanage him and tell him what to do, what not to do, when to do it, and she's not possibly being intentional, but that's how he feels and how he experiences that, right? And so I want to talk more about that and share with you five tips, 5 secrets, 5 ways that you could probably change this dynamic that you're experiencing in your marriage. Now, let me say that if you're hearing me for the first time and is wondering who am I to be speaking on topics like this one, you heard me just said that the work that I do is a licensed marriage and family therapist. I work with couples and individuals and families for the last several years, and I've heard story after story after story, and I've heard this has been one of the things that couples deal with quite a bit. So I've been doing this work for almost 2 decades, like I said before, and I've counseled and coached hundreds and hundreds of couples over the past several years, and having been married myself for almost 4 decades, right? I'm getting close to that, and not about 3 more years, and I'll be four decades. I'm able to talk about topics, I believe, topics like this one with confidence. So it's personal and professional experiences from where I'm coming. And I hope you'll hear that in what I'm sharing in this video recording. Now, let me also recommend that if you have never listened to my podcast, I have a weekly podcast. It's audio and can be heard on any platforms that you listen to your audio podcasts on. The Happier Marriage Secrets podcast. So you just search for Happier Marriage and you'll find it. And you can also read my blogs. And if you go to my website, happiermarriagesecrets.com, you'll see you can click on the link to any platform to listen to the podcast. But also you can read the blogs that have been written there. And many of the topics that I cover is similar to these topics. And so you could get a whole wealth of information there and just kind of take, go for it. Just kind of sit down one day and just go through it. They're very short, so you can read them in a very, very quick time. So I made them for that purposes. Now, at the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you how to get a free ebook, but also how you can get a marriage assessment, a free marriage assessment done to see where your marriage is, to kind of gauge where your marriage is and have an idea of what you can do to get your marriage the way that you would possibly want it. Okay. Now, let's dive into today's topic. Be my lover, not my mother, says husband, and 5 ways to make this change. Now, the first way that I want to describe is, and let me just share this here with you while I'm talking about this, because I think it's important that I pop these up. Sometimes I forget to do that, right? So let's see here. So we having that. That's the topic right there. So the first thing I want to say um, is be curious. Be curious, because what happened is, as a wife, your husband is saying, "Stop being my mom. I don't need you to be my mom." Now you get offended because you're trying to be nice and kind and loving and caring. That's right. That's what you're trying to do. But your husband, he hears this as telling him what to do. It's almost like what to do, what to wear, how to wear it, how to fix himself, as if prior to you, he didn't get along just fine. Right? So he hears that. So what you want to do is instead of getting into a conflict and a shouting match and to debate and telling him how you're not being like his mom or like a mom, be curious. Try to find out what it is he's experiencing. How is he hearing that? What is it that you're saying or doing that makes it that way for him? So be curious with a curious question. And I believe that if you are genuinely and wanting to know, and he feels that, then he will be more than willing to share with you that's like. But when you're possibly in denial and don't want to even acknowledge the fact that he's saying this is how he's experiencing what you're doing and everything about it, when no one likes to be told what to do, right? Neither do you. When you're telling him, oh, don't mix the drink that way, or make it lighter, or that's not, whatever it is, the clothes is not being folded properly, and whatever it is that you're telling him, and he feels like, man, that's like my mom. Be curious and see what it is he's saying that you need to change. Second thing you want to do is create a setting where it's safe enough to give permission for feedback. So you may want to say to him, whenever I say something or do something that makes you feel that way, I want you to stop me. So you're giving him permission to offer you a feedback at that time. So it's very relevant. It's almost like it's happening in real time, and you're able to now connect the dots and you can see and feel what it is he's saying, because he wants to let you know he wants to be his own man, right? And that's important because he feels disrespected. He feels as if he is not man enough. And you need to tell him how to tie his shoes, right? How to hold a cup, and be careful you don't do, right? So you want to give permission for him to give you the feedback. And if, as you as a husband, the feedback you want to give is not one like where, it's a very an attitude with it. No, be very gentle. Be willing to share, recognizing your wife is really wants to know, wants to do better. Give her the benefit of that doubt, and when you both have set up a situation where you're going to give permission for feedback at the time you're experiencing that, and you're communicating that to her, and she's hearing that in that context, the chance is she'll be able to identify and put quote two to two and know what it is you're talking about. Okay. The third thing you want to do is practice moderation. So as a wife, you want to kind of back off. Some things you may have to swallow hard. Some things you may have to just restrain yourself. Whenever you feel like you need to tell him how to do something, pull back a little bit, right? Dial down, turn the volume down, all the way down, right? I mean, you're going to have to obviously have some time where you want to share with him some things you would rather have him do a certain way. And that's understandable. And that's what relationships are all about. But it's not that is when he hears it all the time. So you want to kind of dial down this idea of always telling him how to do things, when to do things, and constantly feel like you're criticizing him. He's never doing things good enough. That is where you want to dial back. So you want to practice moderation. And again, you can set that up where through the permission and feedback, you have a good way to gauge that. And because you see how irritated he's getting. So you want to kind of step in a moment and say, "Hi, so is this what you're talking about, me being like a mom to you? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." So apology and acknowledgement goes a long way as well, right? Number four, reframe their attempts. So, as a husband, when your wife is trying to connect with you and she's doing her best, she doesn't know how else. She doesn't know what else to do. She's saying to you, I love you. I feel I care for you. I want the best for you." And that's her attempt with what she knows. She's trying her best. What if you were to reframe what it is you're experiencing? And instead of seeing it as, she is trying to be your parent and a mom to you, what if you saw it as her attempt to connect with you? And then you're going to help her to find a better way to connect with you. So if you could reframe the attempt that is not an intentional thing, number one, it's not number two, wanting to hurt you and wanted to kind of give you a bad day, right? Sitting up all night thinking, how can I make your day very terrible? That's not what it is. Reframe that to give that person, in this case, your wife, the benefit of the doubt. That is one of those ways you can go about doing it. That reframe can help you from jumping to the conclusion and assuming that's what she is doing. And number five, find the right balance. Find the right balance, meaning that she's going to have to some point some things out to you, like I made reference to earlier. And likewise, you. But you're going to come into it at that moment with her in a manner where it's recognized that it's not that she's out to hurt you. She's not trying to put you down. She's not trying to throw you under the bus. Now there's exceptions to everything. Sometimes I find where a wife is so mad and she want to hurt her husband and vice versa, husband to the wife, that they will be intentional in that manner. So I'm not speaking to those extreme situations. I'm speaking to where things are normal. And in this idea of finding the right balance, remember this, that there's love and there's caring that's taking place. And sometimes your wife may just be anxious. She's scared. She may feel insecure. She may have a trust issue. And maybe you're the reason why she had a trust issue. And so she's trying her best to hold things together. And in her mind, if she can do those things, it gives her more of a way to know things will be okay. She wants to know things will be okay. She wants to know that at the end of the day, you know what? We're going to be together. So she's really advocating for that. Unfortunately, it comes out the wrong way sometimes. So these five um, tips, I believe, will help you to have a better marriage. Number one, be curious. Number two is give permission for feedback. Number three is practice moderation. Number four is reframe the attempt. And number five, find the right balance. Now, I would love to hear which of these may resonated most with you. And again, you can always leave in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. If you need to get more, again, you can listen to my podcast and read my blogs at happiermarriagesecrets.com. You can have access to those two resources. And I have a lot out there, so you can get quite a bit of my thought process in other areas as well. And my friend, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, right? It's important to subscribe to this channel and just hit the notification bell, so that people can know. I mean, you can be notified when I do a new video. But the subscription is also to allow more people to find me. The more subscription that I have, the better it is, because that gives me a better position on this information that I'm passing out, which I think is important for you. Follow me on any social media at Kingsley Grant, because I have a lot of content out there, like I mentioned before, my podcasts and my blogs, but also on TikTok and my YouTube shorts right here. You can also watch those as well, because they're very, very short, very, very succinct, and I make a lot of make a lot of helpful resources are there as well. So I'd love to hear from you, and at some point, and here's what I mentioned. If you go to my website, a pop-up will take place, and then it's going to take you to a page where it allows you to do a quick, short assessment to gauge where your marriage might be. And once you take the assessment, you'll get like a PDF that tells you what numbers you scored. And if you score this number, here's what your marriage may look like and what your next step will be. You'll also get some emails from me pointing out how to continue this growth process, but also how you can actually get into my ecosystem and get more of my resources that I have available for you. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch, to listen, and I really appreciate that. Share this with somebody else, right? At least one more spouse. Share this, and let me hear. Comment below your thoughts or your questions if you have them. I'd love to answer them one day. Do a Q&A just from me to you and others as well. So with that said, my friend, thank you for watching me. God bless you. Peace out, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, so come right back. Hit the subscribe button and the notification so that you don't miss any. You don't want to miss anything. Okay, see you then.